One, two, one, two. Y'all know what time it is. It's accountability time. And it's Friday. Who happy for Friday? It's the end of the week. If you work, this is your last day. If you have to go into your W-2 employer, as I like to call them, today is your last and final day, unless, of course, you work on Saturdays. But hopefully this is the end of the week for you. Good morning, Miss Carol. How are you? Good morning, Miss Iris. Today is Friday, and I'm excited about Friday. Good morning, Miss Chester. Good morning, Crystal. Thank you so much for joining. Hey, Chillian. Hopefully I'll see you later tonight, honey. Yes, today is day 22 of accountability. The accountability solution is being brought to you by Ebony Mont Show. And I am happy about it being Friday, y'all. Even though I still got to get up at 7:30 and be here for you on Saturday and Sunday. But at least some of my other work ends for after today, right? So good morning to everyone. I appreciate you. And I hope that you are appreciating yourself as well. Yes. Good morning. Good morning. Hey. How many of y'all know that it's your time? The time is now, right? The time is now for us to do what we have to do in order to live the life that we want to live. And I am so excited about that. I am so excited about new, right? About change. Good morning, Miss Joyce. Miss She Rocks It herself. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. And I appreciate each and every person that comes on the live every single morning. We've been doing this the entire month of February. Today is day 22. Can you believe it? We've already completed 21 days. And I hope that you have had your pen and your pads, your journals, your notebooks with you each and every day, taking notes, so that way you are ready to then implement all of the things that we have talked about, all of the things that we have learned together. And if you haven't had an opportunity, if you missed a day, go back, subscribe to my YouTube channel, so that way you can get the opportunity to listen to every day in your quiet time and in your quiet space. So that way you can then have the tools and the tips and everything that you need, all of the resources, so you can then be that accountability person, so you can be responsible. Good morning, Shonda. Thank you so much for joining. So it is important that for 2019, we are on a journey, right? To becoming, like Michelle Obama says, we are trying to determine our purpose and God's plan for our lives. And in order for us to do that, we have to have the right tools in place. So if you haven't had an opportunity to watch all of the 21 days that have already passed, go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, so that way you can then get the information that you need. That is Ebony Mont Show, my name on YouTube. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my email list, make sure you do so, because every Sunday I send out a tip sheet, something to you to add to your journal, to your book of discovery, right? Because that's what we're doing. We're discovering who we are. So make sure you subscribe to the email list, so you can get those tips and tools that go out every single Sunday. So again, I am so elated and so happy for each person that joins me every morning at 7:30. Thank you again so much. My name is Ebony Moncho. I am a motivational speaker, an accountability coach, and the CEO of 360 HR Solutions. I teach entrepreneurs, leaders, and influencers how to build success. And I do that by helping them to create structure, to develop processes, and to implement solutions that are sustainable. Good morning, my sister Evelyn. Thank you so much for joining. So today we are talking about what is a communication plan. So these next couple of days, the last 3 days, and then the next couple of days, we are diving right into the things that we need to do, right? Before we talked about just how to get our minds ready, we are now diving into the actual action part. What is it that we need to do? We've already talked about developing a personal mission statement, a vision statement. Yesterday, we talked about creating your action plan. Now, today, we are talking about creating a communication plan, right? And why that is important and what are the key elements and the key ingredients of an effective communication plan. So do you have your pen and your pad ready, your journal out with you, so that way you can be prepared to then go into your quiet time to then create your own personal communication plan? Good morning, Miss Charlestine. Thank you so much for joining. You know, there are companies that have communication plans. They have them in case of emergencies. They have them just as an everyday course of action, right? That's what they do. They create communication plans. So that way everybody is on the same page. No matter if you are the CEO or if you are the janitor, you are aware of that communication plan. So when something happens, you know what your role and your responsibility is. And that's what we're going to create for our own personal lives. So a communication plan is your roadmap for getting your message. And your message can be defined as your ideas and information, right? So a communication plan is your roadmap for getting your ideas and your information, i.e. your message, delivered to your audience. It is also an essential tool for making sure that you are sending clear and specific messages, right, with measurable results. We already talked about when we created our SMART goals that information, our goals need to be measurable. So when we're creating our communication plan, we need to use that SMART goal acronym to help us create it so our message is clear, specific, and it is measurable. Your communication plan should define who should be given specific information, so the who, when that information should be delivered, and then what communication channel you're going to use to deliver the information, right? So who, what, and how, basically, is what we're going to define when we're creating our communication plan. Now, it's important to understand that a communication plan plays a major role in change management. And that's what we've been talking about. That's what accountability is. That's what leveling up means. That's what all of those things mean. Change management. We are changing ourselves from the inside out. We are changing who we are so that way we can then be in line with what our purpose is, and we are in line with who it is that we need to be. So that way we can be we can have betterment in life, and we can be a better version of ourselves. So remember, we are on this journey of accountability and changing ourselves, right? Like I said, from the inside out. And also, we're on a journey of self-improvement, i.e. personal change management. That is how we can, that is how those two words, that is how they are married together, right? That is the definition, that is the synonym of personal change management, self-improvement. So that's what we're doing. And that's why we need this communication strategy, because it can, one, help to alleviate the resistance to change that we will get not only from ourselves, right? But we get resistance to change from other people that are inside of our circle or others that don't even know us. Change is difficult. So our communication strategy is going to help alleviate that resistance to change, because it will make sure that everyone is on the same page, and it helps you to get allies and make sure they understand exactly where you are and where you are going, right? And we want them to be able to take the necessary steps so they can help us as well. That's what an ally is. An ally is an individual that is going to help you. They believe in you. They believe in your mission. They believe in your purpose. They believe in your vision. So they are going to provide their aid and assistance. So we want to make sure that we are clearly and concisely giving them the information that they need so they can be a help to us. Now, the reason you are communicating, the people you are communicating to, what you're communicating to them, and how you will communicate to them will always vary. Like, that's a variable, right? We may not always be communicating to the same person. The message to each individual may change. How we decide to communicate to those individuals will change. But the one thing that's going to remain the same is the fact that we are trying to maintain positive and supportive relationships. That is the constant. That's the reason why we're creating this communication plan, because we want to maintain positive and supportive relationships. Now, I know you have all heard that you have to teach people how to treat you, right? People treat you according to the way that you have taught them or what you have allowed them to say, to do, right? And that's the same thing for ourselves. We treat us. Sometimes we don't treat ourselves with the utmost respect and dignity either. So we are not only teaching other people how to treat us and how to talk to us, we are also teaching ourselves how to treat ourselves and how to talk to ourselves, because that inner critic, that inner voice is a monster, right? And lastly, we are using this communication plan to help us hold ourselves accountable, and so that way other people can hold us accountable as well. It is time now for us to reclaim our voices. That's what time it is. That's what Kelly Price is talking about in that song. It is time to reclaim your voice. It is time now for you to love yourself a little bit more. I know some of us, we love ourselves. Some of us can't stand the person we see when we look in the mirror, but it is time for us to love ourselves. And a part of that is being able to reclaim your voice, right? Reclaim your voice. So your personal communication plan is going to give you the courage. It's going to give you that courage pill that you need in order to reclaim your voice and to be able to love yourself all the more. Now, by now, we're on day 22, y'all. So you should already have your SMART goals. And remember, we added an extra T to that acronym. So we are SMART squared, right? SMART, the T is that little 2 over the T. That last T stands for transformation. So you should have your SMART goals down. You should have your personal mission statement, your vision statement, your action plan. And now we are ready to develop our personal communication plan. So you should have your pen and your paper, your journal ready, because there are 5 questions that you need to ask yourself when you are getting ready to create your communication plan. So the first question that you need to ask yourself is, what is the purpose of my plan? Why am I even creating a communication plan? What's the purpose? So when you're thinking about that, you want to think about, why is it important to me that my key players understand my newly activated purpose in life. Because that's what we're doing. We're activating. And the reason why we have to be careful with the word choice that we use. And the reason why we're saying activate is because your purpose is already in you. You already have what you need to win. I say all the time, you already have the power to win. So your purpose is already in you. We're just activating it now. So what is the reason why your key players need to understand your newly activated purpose in life? Why is it important to you to then inform them, right? Why is it important for you to inform them? And then how will you telling them your purpose, how will that help you be accountable to your value proposition? Because that's what your mission statement is. That's what your vision statement is. Those are your value propositions. So how is it that you the fact that you're telling people your purpose, how is that helping you to be accountable to your value proposition? So that's the first question you need to ask yourself. What is the purpose of my plan? The next question you need to ask yourself is, who is my audience? Who is my audience? Who will I be speaking to, right? So think about this in terms of a basketball game, right? You want to list out your starting five. For every team, they have a starting five, and then they have people that are on the bench. They have coaches, right? And if we're thinking about a basketball game, not only do you have the starting five, not only do you have the people that are on the bench that are supporting, so that you have your key players, and then you have the people that are on the team that are supporting, hopefully, and then you have the coaches. And then you have the people that are in the stands, the people that came to watch the game. Some came to cheer the players on to a successful win. Now, let me drop a pin right there. At the games, there are people that are in the audience, and there are also people that are on the bench, right? Who may support the supporting team, who may support the home team, and it may be some people that don't. So you have to be prepared when you're creating your communication plan to remember that there may be some people that are on your team that necessarily do not support you. There may be some people that are in the stands, that are watching, that are looking, that are not supporting you either, right? So there will be people that are in your circle that do not support you. And the quicker we understand that, the quicker we know that, we can create a communication plan that's going to be effective. So I want you to plan for them as well. And then lastly, when you're thinking about the who is it that you're going to be delivering your message to, I want you to write your name there as well. I don't want you to just focus on other people, but I want you to write your name there as well. Remember now, we have to develop a strategy for how we're going to communicate to negativity, our own self-doubt, and our own inner critic. So I want you, when you're thinking about your communication plan, don't just look at the external. I want you to write down your name on that line. Who is this message for? Write down those key players, those individuals, your supporting team, your allies. And when you get done, write down Jillian. Write down Reba, write down Glenda, write down Terrell, write down Tracy, right? Write down your name, because you need to have an effective communication plan for talking to yourself, right? So without a plan, we already know we plan to fail. And you have to understand that you are your audience as well. We are our own audiences. And so we have to cheerlead and we have to motivate ourselves. So we have to make sure that we are a part of our communication plan. The third question that we need to ask ourselves is, what is my message? What is it that I want the who to know, right? And so do we write down, you know what, I'm sick of y'all treating me like I'm a lame or I'm a goofy and I ain't going no more. Y'all know it's some of us that talk like that, right? I'm sick of y'all talking to me like that. You know what? You must have forgot who I am. You not gonna talk to me like that. Y'all know how we do it. We got the hand going. We got the clap going with each and every word, right? I ain't no lame. I ain't no goofy. You know how we do. No, right? I know that some of us prefer that route. And actually, if you knew Ebony Presswood a few 24 hours ago, like this guy that used to go to our church named Brother Frazier, he used to say that all the time, just a few 24 hours ago, right? If you knew Ebony Presswood, then that probably would have been the route that she took as well. But I understand now that when I am considering my purpose, right? When I have my value proposition in mind at all times, I understand that that is not the correct route. I understand that that should not be my message, because if I want people to take me seriously, if I want people not to get defensive, if I want people to hear my heart, and if I want them to leave the conversation on board with my vision, with my values, with my mission, if I want them to be on board within my journey, then that means that I have to tailor my message in such a way that people are able to hear me. I have to tailor it in such a way that I am able to receive even my own message, right? So that's important. Make sure when you are writing your message down, you are writing it with the purpose in mind, right? So we can't snap off. We can't be that old version of ourselves, because it's not going to yield us the end result that we are looking for. So the fourth question that we need to ask ourselves is, how will we inform people of the message? So are you going to cook dinner? And anybody know Ebony knows that that won't be her route, because I hate the kitchen. So are you going to cook dinner and invite everyone over and have a family meeting? And man, we used to have some family meetings at our house. My daddy believed in the family meeting, baby. So is that going to be your route? Are you sending emails? Are you making personal phone calls to each and every individual? Will you stand in the mirror and talk to yourself? Will you write yourself a letter that you can read every day? Because remember, we said we have to communicate to ourselves as well. Will we leave sticky notes around our house? How will we inform the who that we decided that we need to give our communication plan to, right? Will we use someone else to communicate to some people? Because sometimes, unfortunately, this is true. Some people will receive the message dependent on who the messenger is. So there may be some people that may be a key player of yours, but they may not be able to receive that message from you. So sometimes we have to delegate someone else to speak on our behalf. So we have to think about that. So how will we inform not only our key players, our supporting people, our allies, our coaches, ourselves? What will be the method that we will use to inform them of our communication plan? And then the fifth question is, when will you start? When will you get started? Procrastination. We already talked about that, how ugly procrastination is. So when will you get started? When will you write the communication plan out? And then when will you actually do the things that you said you need to do in your communication plan? When will you take action? We have to make sure that we make this time specific, because if we don't, then we will never do it. Like we said with so many of our other goals and dreams and aspirations in life, we have to set a time limit on it. So if we know that, you know what, I want to have my communication plan completed by Sunday, and then I'm going to give myself 7 days to then reach out to every person that I have listed, including myself. So by next Sunday, I'll have communicated my message to every person that I need to hear it, right? So don't forget, you're not only writing the plan of action, you're also writing the message. Now, there are 3 key ingredients that you need when writing your personal communication plan. So I hope you're writing these things down. The first thing you need is your heart. Right? Your heart will be the first thing that you need. That's going to be the first key ingredient when writing an effective communication plan, because that's the key word there. We can all write a communication plan, but we want it to be effective. So the first key ingredient is going to be your heart. So your message should come from your heart. The Bible tells us that what comes from the heart reaches the heart. So I want you to be authentic. I want you to be real when you are writing your message, because people respond to messages from the heart. I want you to immediately, before you even start writing, get your emotions and get your mindset in check before you even start writing. That way, your former self, that Ebony Presswood, right? That Jilly off the block, that way she don't come out in the message that you are writing. So speak from the heart. Get those emotions in check before you even start to put the pen to the pad to create your message. The second key ingredient that you need is your truth. So we're starting with our heart, and then the next thing we need is our truth. So I want you to make sure that your message inside of your communication plan is about you and not about other people. Begin with the end in mind, and your end goal is to have positive and supportive relationships. So pointing out the wrong in what somebody else did is not going to get you there. It's not going to get you there. So you have to tell your truth, right? I was in a place of brokenness. I was unorganized. I didn't have any structure in my life, right? I didn't have any processes. I was living a life of being hurt, a life of stress, a life of anxiety. And so what I did was I took some time to do some deep soul searching. And I have come to the realization that what I need to do to live a life full of purpose and to make sure that I am goal smashing, right? That's the kind of message that you want to craft. I'm just giving you some ideas on how to craft your message. And you're going to say, I need your help. Right? Saying, you know what, every time I see you, I get upset. Or, you know what, when you talk to me, you don't understand the way to talk to me. And you always talk down to me. That is going to make the individual that you're talking to, it's going to build a defensive wall up in them. And they're going to block out everything that you say after that. They won't be receptive. So we are looking to build positive and supportive relationships. So when we use I statements, right? That's what they teach us in cognitive behavioral therapy. Use I statements. And if you're not sure, I say go and purchase the book, Crucial Conversations. It helps you to then figure out the best way to have those crucial conversations. That's the title of the book, Crucial Conversations. So we will be in our message delivering our truth. So we will use I statements. Because our communication plan, although it's teaching people how to communicate with us, we're also teaching us how to communicate with us, right? And how to be honest with ourselves. Walter Anderson said, our lives improve only when we take chances. And the first and most difficult risk that we can take is when we be honest with ourselves. So when we are able to walk in our own truth and speak our own truth, we are on the path to being honest with ourselves. The last key ingredient that you need, the very last key ingredient that you're going to need when you are preparing and you are writing your communication message that's going to go in your communication plan, is you're going to need to bring along with you some thick skin. You're going to need thick skin, because you are communicating your needs and why they are important, right? So you have to get ready for the people that we already talked about, that we thought was going to be on board with us, those that we thought that would be eager to help us in this journey, those who we thought would be glad to be our accountability partners and our accountability coaches, to say no thank you and to jump off the boat. We have to be ready for that. So we need to have thick skin. That way, that emotion, right, that we have that is attached to when people hurt us, it won't rise up, because we're already prepared. We're already expecting that. So you have to be ready to say goodbye to some people that you had listed as your starting five, as your lineup, as your starting five lineup, because some of those individuals who we think should be a part of our starting five, when we communicate our key message to them, we'll find out very quickly that they are not a part of our starting five. So I want you to have that thick skin ready. You have to be ready to receive some insults, some criticism, for people to degrade you, for some people to even be upset with you. You know, that crab mentality, that crab syndrome is real. When people see that you are climbing up to the top, when they see that you are starting to walk in your purpose, when they see that you are walking according to your value proposition, they are going to start to pull you back down. They don't want to see you succeed. They don't want to see you successful. So they're going to pull you down. So get ready for that. Get ready for that inner critic that's going to happen inside of your own mind, because it's going to kick in. The more you start to reach your destination of success, the more that inner critic is going to kick in. You can't do this. You are not the type of person that deserves this type of happiness. You have never had this level of success. You've never had this much money before. So why do you think you should have it now? That inner voice is going to kick in. So get some thick skin, so you're ready to fight against that inner critic that's going to happen. Be prepared. Don't get ready. Be ready, right? So what will you say to yourself or to others when they come at you, because you already know it's coming? Well, I have an idea, right? What I say in my own mind is, not today, landmine. Right? We already talked about that this journey is going to require us to overstep and to sidestep and to sway and do the matrix. We already know that we will have to dodge some landmines. So that's what I'm going to say, though. That's what I say. Not today, landmine. Me and Jesus are on a goal crushing journey. Right? We are on a goal smashing journey. So not today, landmine. Not today. Me and Jesus are on a goal smashing journey. You will not deter me, right? That's mine. You can borrow that, or you can borrow a line from my sister Daniela Coffey, and what she says is, you are not worth my promise. Right? That's another way to say it. Not today, landmine, or you are not worth my promise. So those are some things that you can say to help you build your thick skin that you're going to need when you communicate your message of change, when you communicate your value proposition, when you start to walk in your purpose. That thick skin, you're going to need it. So make sure when those things come up, you have already in your mind what you're going to say when they come up. Not today, landmine, not today. So remember, we are on a journey of implementing solutions that are sustainable. We want them to stick around. We are building success together. And that's what these 28 days of accountability are. It is helping us to build success together. And your communication plan is the next step in the process of redefining you. You are redefining who you are. So thank you again, each and every person that continues to join in each and every day. I appreciate you. I hope that something is said during our live videos, during this personal time that we have together, that motivates you, that inspires you, that encourages you, that influences you, right? That ignites a passion and a burning desire in you to want to be accountable, to get on that journey of finding out who you are, right? You have been tuning in to the Accountability Solution. My name is Ebony Moncho, and I am a motivational speaker, an accountability coach, and the CEO of 360 HR Solutions. And I teach entrepreneurs, leaders, and influencers how to build success. And I do that by helping them to develop processes, to create structure, and to implement solutions that are sustainable. Remember that it is your time. It's your time to live. It's your time to shine. It's your time to grow. And it is your time to live and to walk in your purpose. Do it. Do it today.